One company bought 70,000 acres of California, farmland in Solano County, an hour northeast of San Francisco, an area larger than Boston. It took 5 years and nearly $900 million. And for most of that time, nobody could find out who was behind the money. Then, the names came out.
We now know the identity of the people who are buying up land around Travis Air Force Base in Solano County.
Mark Andreessen, Reed Hoffman, Michael Moritz, Laureen Powell-Jobs through Emerson Collective. They want to build a city on that land, from scratch, homes for 400,000 people. So, they already own every acre they need. What they do not own is permission.
You did a bad investment, and we're not going to support as a shill to support your project. So shame on you.
The zoning, the annexation, a public willing to say yes. None of that was ever for sale. This is the playbook for buying a city before anyone agrees to let you build one. 5 moves. Move 1 worked perfectly. That was the problem. This is House of Cards, where we find out who stacked the deck and who never got asked. The man running the operation was Jan Shremick, a former Goldman Sachs trader, barely 30 when the buying began. For years, he was the company's only employee. In 2018, offers started arriving at farmhouses across eastern Solano County. Flannery Associates, registered in Delaware. No website, no history, no explanation. It didn't want a field, it wanted all of them, and it paid far above farmland value. Sellers took the money. The money was very good. Here's why the silence wasn't optional. Announce a city, and every remaining owner prices the city into their land. Economists call it the holdout problem. It kills large assemblies. The last 10% of parcels can cost more than the first 90. So, you buy in silence, through an entity with no story attached. Walt Disney ran the same play in Florida in the 60s. Swampland, bought through shell companies. On pure mechanics, Flannery followed the textbook. The textbook doesn't cover what silence does to everyone else, because people noticed. In July 2019, someone posted on Reddit asking who was buying up Solano County. 4 years before anyone confirmed anything. The theories ranged from Chinese agriculture to solar farms, water rights, Amazon, even a Northern California Disneyland. Meanwhile, the purchases were spreading around Travis Air Force Base. Travis is home to the Air Force's largest air mobility wing, and the purchases triggered federal scrutiny. By late 2022, federal authorities were examining whether foreign money was behind it. The Pentagon, the Treasury, the FBI, and nobody could answer the simplest question anyone had: who is this? By the time anyone got an answer, the core land assembly was already in place. Flannery had already made its second move. Not everyone sold. Some families had held the land 3 generations. They weren't interested in a check.
In 2019, we ourselves got a letter offering to buy our ranch at inflated prices. We made it clear there's no way we're going to sell this ranch.
In May 2023, Flannery sued them. $510 million.
A new lawsuit is being aimed at farmers that own land in the Travis Air Force Base by a developer that has been purchasing thousands of acres.
A group of farmers in the area are now facing a $510 million lawsuit from Flannery.
The claim was antitrust. Flannery alleged the holdouts had coordinated to inflate prices.
It was a hard decision, but we have laws on the books that protect against that kind of conduct. And we'll leave it to the courts to figure it out.
Watch the direction of that arrow. It gets reported backwards constantly. The farmers didn't sue Flannery. Flannery sued the farmers. In March 2024, a judge let the case pass dismissal. That wasn't a finding of guilt. It only meant the claims could be argued. They never were. By the start of 2026, every defendant had settled. No trial, no verdict, no finding that either side was right. What the lawsuit did accomplish was harder to undo. Chris Rico ran Solano County's Economic Development Corporation. He also sat on California Forever's own advisory committee, which makes his verdict worth more. You just don't sue farmers. It's a bad look. 3 months after Flannery filed, the names came out anyway. August 2023, the New York Times printed the full list. Andreessen, Hoffman, and Moritz were only part of it. John Doerr, Chris Dixon, The Collison brothers. Andreessen Horowitz, the firm, was in it too. The plan they finally described was a city. Walkable, dense, solar-powered, built for people priced out of the Bay. On paper, that answers a real problem. California genuinely cannot build housing fast enough. So Saronic went to the towns to explain. The town halls went badly. People shouted shill at him and smooth talker. A Vacaville resident named Mary Heiser said it better than the shouting did.
You need to work on your soft skills. Don't insult us when you come to talk to us.
In Suisun City, Princess Washington framed the real question.
I think people know what we will be giving up, but what will we get in return is the larger question, and no one really knows that with certainty.
This is the hinge of the whole story. The secrecy was rational. It was probably the only way to assemble the land at all. But secrecy is a one-time purchase. You pay for it later. They bought 110 square miles and spent the credibility they needed to use it. A year later, that bill came due. California Forever put the plan on the November 2024 ballot, gathered signatures, qualified the measure, then withdrew it on the 22nd of July 2024, one day before the county supervisors were due to vote. Almost everyone remembers this as a defeat at the polls. It wasn't. No voter in Solano County has ever cast a ballot on this. It was pulled days after a county report projected large deficits. Polling was running against it too. Then the project did something more interesting than trying again. It changed which government gets to decide. Here's the machinery. It's worth understanding properly. Since 1984, Solano County has had an orderly growth rule. Voters reaffirmed it as recently as 2008. It demands a countywide vote before farmland becomes city. But read the fine print. That rule only covers land in unincorporated areas. Annex the same land into an existing city, and the county rules stops applying. So the fight was never only about who owned the land. It was about what that land was legally allowed to become. In late 2025, they applied to annex nearly 23,000 acres into Suisun City. Suisun has about 29,000 residents, and a structural deficit it has struggled to close. Roughly 97% of the people living there work somewhere else. The city wasn't ambushed. It had its own reasons to want this. The annexation decision would ultimately go to an agency called LAFCO. There is a safety valve. Name it honestly. Residents of the annexed area can force a protest hearing, but California Forever owns nearly all of that land, which makes objections hard to organize. So what do the people there actually think? In a poll commissioned by an opposition group, 58% of Suisun voters opposed it. After hearing arguments from both sides, opposition reached 65%. California Forever's own countywide polling found the opposite, 51% in support, rising to 59% once respondents heard more. A different electorate, different questions, and each poll favored the side that commissioned it. Either way, neither poll is a binding vote, and this route does not require the countywide ballot they originally pursued. Then, in April 2026, they hired Bob Hertzberg. Hertzberg is a former Speaker of the California Assembly. In 2000, he authored the law governing annexation in his state. It's called the Cortez-Knox-Hertzberg Act. They hired the man whose name is on the framework they want to use. But annexation is slow, and slow was becoming a problem. So, they found something that couldn't wait. In 2025, the pitch changed shape. The walkable city was still there. It just wasn't the headline anymore. Now the headline was a 2,100-acre manufacturing park called the Solano Foundry. And next to it, a 7,500-acre shipyard on deep water. Saronic started calling the site America's Shenzhen. Watch what that swap does to the argument. Housing is a local planning dispute. It can take a decade. Shipbuilding is a national security emergency, and emergencies get exceptions. The company commissioned an economic study from the Bay Area Council. It projected 530,645 ongoing jobs by 2065. Now look at the timing. In October 2025, California Forever hired Jim Wunderman to run public affairs. He had spent the previous 22 years running the Bay Area Council. The study came out 3 months after he joined. Then they went to Sacramento and asked for 3 things. Permission to lien on an environmental review from 2008, a governor's designation capping any lawsuit at 270 days, and annexation into Suisun City if local government couldn't deliver housing fast enough. To make that case, they hired Darrell Steinberg, former leader of the California Senate. Steinberg wrote the 2013 streamlining law he was hired to invoke, and the urgency case rested heavily on one prospective tenant, an autonomous warship company called Saronic, weighing California against Texas. On the 16th of July 2026, Saronic answered. Saronic chose Brownsville, Texas. Saronic called it a $3 billion plus investment. Texas valued it at $3.248 billion, up to 10,000 direct jobs. Texas put money on the table for Saronic, an $80 million state grant, plus major local tax abatements. California Forever was never offering money. It was asking Sacramento for something else, legal architecture and speed. And here's the part that should have worked. In March 2026, Kleiner Perkins led Saronic's $1.75 billion funding round. The investor networks overlapped. Andreessen Horowitz had backed both California Forever and Saronic. And even that overlap wasn't enough to keep the factory in California. So who lost it? California Forever says the state couldn't move without special legislation. And that legislation, it says, wasn't passed in time. State Senator Christopher Cableton tells it differently. California Forever held the shipyard proposal hostage by tying it to their unpopular housing development proposal. Saronic blamed nobody. It described a year-long national search and left it there. One fact sits underneath all three accounts. By the time Saronic chose Texas, no legislation had ever been introduced. Cableton had refused to carry it in September 2025. The assembly member for the district says nothing more was asked of her office. The state budget was signed on the 30th of June with nothing in it. No committee hearing, no vote, no bill number. Then something shifted. In late July, the governor's own economic development office wrote to lawmakers. It called the shipyard and the foundry projects of statewide significance, the kind of opportunity California should fight for and win. It stopped short of endorsing California Forever, or the city, or any bill. But look at what it used to make the case. 530,000 jobs, the number from the Bay Area Council study. Losing Saronic did not end the argument. It moved the argument inside the building. California Forever says it still intends to build, and one fact survives every interpretation. They still own the land. The environmental review is moving. The annexation is still alive. They executed the most expensive, most irreversible part flawlessly. Bought 110 square miles before the full plan could be priced into every parcel. Then spent 3 years learning the harder lesson. Ownership and permission are not the same thing. The land was the easy part, because the economy is a house of cards. And now you know who stacked this one. If you want the next hidden system before everyone else, subscribe. The next one is already in production.